I'm going to start thawing some of my whole chickens so I can go ahead and break them down because I have a lot of whole chickens. I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do 5. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator that's right next to here to go ahead and start thawing so I can get them broken down. But I want to make some marinades for some steak. So I need to start pulling some steaks out of here that I want to use so that I can see if I need to let any of them thaw. We've eaten a lot of the steaks. Let's see. So I have some steak in here that I don't need to thaw. So I'm going to just set it right here so I can get to it easily. But so I'm going to pull a couple of roasts out as well, and I'm going to let them thaw. I'm going to let them thaw enough in the fridge that I can cut them into steaks. So I'm going to put this chicken in here. And then I'm going to get my 2 roasts and I'm going to put them in there. And so in a few days when those are all thawed, then I can go ahead and start processing those. Also going to make some more banana bread. The banana bread that I made the other day was so good. It all got eaten, and I will say I ate most of it. My husband didn't get a whole lot of it. It was perfect. So I'm gonna make some more. I had some bananas in the freezer, so I got those out to start thawing so that I can get that batter mixed up and make some more banana bread loaves. I had pulled out for dinner tonight one of our marinated chickens. I think I pulled out the cilantro lime marinated chicken that we were going to have for dinner tonight, but my husband is actually meeting my brother-in-law for a night out, so we're going to have that tomorrow. So I'll just have something. I don't know what I'll do for myself tonight, but we will be having that chicken tomorrow, and we'll be working on these other marinades here in a few days. All right, so we are going to try our hand at making some sourdough discard crackers today. So I'm going to start my oven preheating to 350, and we're going to mix together a cup of all-purpose flour and a cup of unfed sourdough starter. So I've got my starter here, and so we're going to put a cup of flour in our bowl. All right, we're going to put a cup of flour in here. A cup of our starter. Let's see. Going to put that in. Then we cover this back up and put it back on the counter. And we need a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You could also use melted butter, just depends on your preference. I'm going to go ahead and use olive oil, and I'm going to get my bigger container. And if you hear the dog crying over here, it's because my husband left the house without him and he's very sad. No, you're fine. And we want just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to stir this mixture together. And I'm going to go ahead and use my dough hook. So we're going to stir all this mixture together until it kind of starting to just come together a little bit, and then we're going to finish this out kneading it by hand. And I'm going to dump this out so I can get all of these dry ingredients. I thought I was going to be able to do it in the bowl, but I'm not able to get all of that dry stuff in there. All right, so we're just going to knead it for a few minutes until it's smooth. I want to make sure that we've got all of our ingredients in our ball here, and then we're just going to set it back in the bowl, cover it with the towel, and then we're going to let it rest for 20 minutes. And then we'll move on to our next step. All right, so there's our ball of dough. Put this in the bowl, and we're just going to cover this with a towel, and we'll be back in about 20 minutes to move on. All right, so while that is resting, we're going to go ahead and mix up some sort of everything bagel mix. So I'm going to put some salt in here. We're going to add a little bit of onion powder, and I'm just winging this, honestly. I'm going to add some sesame seeds. And then I'm going to use some chia seeds. The recipe that I kind of looked at, most of them called for black sesame seeds, and all I have is just regular white. So I'm going to use chia seeds kind of in place of that. I'm just going to mix this together, and we're going to use this to brush on our crackers. So I got a cookie sheet out that we'll use once we are ready to put these in the oven, but we're going to roll these out on a piece of parchment paper. And I'm actually going to put my mat out here so that it doesn't slide around while I'm trying to roll it. When we're ready to bake our crackers, we're going to melt this butter and brush it over the cracker tops. All right, so it's been 20 minutes. We're going to take our dough ball and just kind of break it in half. We just want to work with part of it at a time. And I'm just going to roll this into a roughly rectangular shape. The dog is so pathetic. All right, maybe I need to take it off of this now. Try this. Nope. My paper's gonna slide around on my counter if I do that. So put it back on here. Alright, so I'm going to say that's probably thin enough because it's starting to tear apart my dough. And I'm going to use my pizza wheel to cut it, but we're going to do the butter and seasoning first. So I'm going to melt my butter. Alright, so this is mostly melted, so I'm going to brush this dough with my melted butter. Like that. And whoops. And then I'm going to take my seasoning mix and I'm just going to sprinkle it over.
I'm going to use roughly half of it. Can always make more if I decide I want more. This mix smells good. Okay, so now we're going to cut our dough. I'm going to use my pizza cutter. I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. And I'm just going to cut it in cracker-sized pieces. You know, whatever size you want your crackers to be. Oh, that one went crooked. Kind of looks like a fish. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it looks like a fish, which is funny. All right. Okay, now, all right, so we just want to slide these apart a little bit so that they're not all kind of right on top of each other. You don't want them on top of each other though. That was the whole point of sliding them apart. Okay, so now I'm going to transfer this parchment paper to this cookie sheet, like that. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other half of our dough. I'm going to take it out. Let's see if I can do a better job of making this a rectangle. No promises. So I thought of this yesterday. I was using crackers and I don't have very many left, and I thought, oh, I should try to make some. Whoa, because I've never made crackers before. So, but I've seen a lot of people do them, and they always look so good. Okay, that's more rectangular shape, but still not a rectangular. So we're going to brush it with butter. Which is not completely melted now, but that's okay. It's still soft enough to use on here. All right. We're going to sprinkle our topping on these crackers. And I'm trying to get more of the other toppings and less of the salt. I probably should have used less salt because it seems like there's quite a bit. The amount of salt that I used was actually perfect. The crackers were really, really good. Okay. So now we're going to cut this piece into our crackers. Alrighty, so I'm going to slide this piece, whoops, onto my cookie sheet, and then fix the pieces that went crazy. Let's see here. So now we are going to bake these for 15 to 20 minutes in our 350 degree oven, and then we're going to take them out and let them cool, and then we'll give them a try. Right, there they go. We'll start with 15 minutes and then see how they look. All right, so there's our 15 minutes. So let's take a look at these. Ooh. Oh. Okay, I think they need another few minutes, but I'm gonna split the trays because my oven tends to be hotter on the bottom, so I don't want to burn those. I'm gonna go ahead and do 4 more minutes and we'll see how they look after that. All right, these, I think these are done. All right, so we're gonna let these completely cool on our pan, and then we'll take them and store them in an airtight container. I'm gonna taste one, it's really hot. That's really hot. That is really good. Holy cow. Very good. So I'm gonna let those cool all the way, and then I will store them in this Snapware container. Okay, so all the crackers are cooled. I've got them in this container, so I'm gonna start working on stuff for dinner. We're gonna have, whoa. We're gonna have some homemade burrito bowls that I'm gonna make with the cilantro lime chicken that we made together the other day, the marinade that we put together. I pulled that out. I was gonna make it yesterday, and then my husband ended up going out with my brother-in-law for a guys' night, so we're having that chicken tonight, and we're gonna use it to make burrito bowls. So first thing I'm gonna do is make up some salsa. Ooh, this onion is strong. Holy cow. So I'm just gonna dice up this onion. Ow! Oh my goodness. Okay, so I just cut my finger. Don't do that. But we are going to dice up the rest of this onion. Put this in a bowl. Whoops. All right, so my onion skin went into my stock bag, going back in the freezer. Maybe if I can get it to zip up. There we go. Okay. It's really hard to work with this Band-Aid on my finger too. That is no fun. Alright. So there's our onion. Now, get all this onion picked up. So I don't have any like regular full-size tomatoes, so I'm just going to use these grape tomatoes. So I'm just going to dice a bunch of those or throw them across the room. That onion is strong. Holy cow. Some tomato on top of it. Ooh, goodness. Ooh. Oh my gosh. The last onion that I chopped was not this strong. Oh my goodness. Speaking of tomatoes, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for fresh tomatoes this summer. So excited. My tomato seeds, most of them are coming up. They've sprouted, and so it just makes me very excited for when we can plant in the garden and when we can get some fresh items out of the garden. Ugh. I actually was going to, tomorrow, I was planning to start planting my strawberries. I got all my strawberries and my onions. I think I told you guys I started some onion seeds, but I also ordered some onion sets just in case, because I told you I've never really had good luck starting my own seeds. So just in case, I ordered some, and they came, and so I was going to start working on those tomorrow. It's supposed to be fairly nice outside, but it's supposed to be super, super windy, so I am not going to mess with that. So in a couple of days, it's supposed to be nice again and not so windy. So hopefully I'll be able to get some of that stuff done in a couple of days. I'm super excited about that. Okay, I'm gonna see what I think of that. I'm gonna stir that up here in just a minute and see if we need any more. I've got a couple of garlic cloves here. I'm going to go ahead and get those minced up. And we're going to add that in. And we're going to add a little bit of salt and some lime juice. And super important ingredient, I almost forgot the cilantro. Of course, I don't have any fresh here, but I do have, oh, it's all stuck to my Band-Aid. I do have my freeze-dried that I'm going to put in this. Okay, I'm gonna, oops. Add a little bit of lime juice to this, and then we're just gonna give this a stir. That smells good. I think I'm going to add some more cilantro. Just going to kind of rough chop this so that it's not all stringy. We'll add some more of that in there. Pieces of onion just don't want to stay in the bowl. I think that needs a little more lime. And then I'm going to see, my husband did have some jalapenos in the fridge. I'm going to see if he's eaten them all. And if he hasn't, I'm going to add just a little bit to this. No jalapenos in the fridge. There is that. Alright, so I'm going to give this one last stir, and then I'm going to cover it and stick it back in the refrigerator while we move on to the next piece of getting our dough ready. And I'm only covering this so that the rest of the refrigerator does not smell like onion. Alright, so there we go, into the fridge. Okay, we are also going to go ahead and get some rice started. We're going to make some cilantro lime rice to go in our burrito bowls. So I'm going to put some rice in our rice cooker, and then I'm going to add some of our liquid. I'm going to have, I'm going to do about a half a cup of lime juice, and then I'm going to do the rest of the 2 cups of liquid as water. So we have 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of liquid, so most of it's water and the rest of it is our lime juice. I'm going to pour it in. Alright, since I already put my cutting board with the cilantro away, I'm just going to put some in a baggie and just kind of crush it up because I don't want it to be real stringy in our rice. So I'm just going to add this to our rice cooker now with the rice and liquid. That. I'm going to put the lid on this and we're going to go ahead and get it cooking. Alright, so I keep my rice in the freezer. Well, I have a bucket in the basement for long-term storage that I have gallon baggies of rice in, and the one that and it's in one of those with the gamma lid. The one that I'm working out of, I keep up here in the freezer. All right, so we're gonna let our rice cook. Our rice takes about 35 or 40 minutes or so to cook. So I am going to shred us up some cheese and let that cook for a little bit because our chicken is not going to take as long to cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut a hunk of this cheese off. And then I'll wrap the end of this up in plastic. And then I will shred up this piece that I'm pulling off of here. I'm go ahead and start shredding this up into our bowl. And we won't need everything that I'm shredding here today, but whatever's left I'll just put in a bag and put back in the refrigerator. So this is going to be definitely plenty of cheese. All right, there's our last little bit of cheese. The dog will be happy when he comes in with those little cheese pieces I dropped on the floor. There's our cheese. Let's see. I also brought up a jar of home canned black beans. We are going to warm these up to use with our burrito bowls, but I'm just gonna let those sit for right now. All right, so we've got our meat that's been marinating. We're gonna go ahead and get some oil in our pan and heat it up. So I'm just going to cook, I think, 2 pieces at a time so that they don't get crowded in my pan. And I'll just put these on a plate when they're done. So I'm going to put a lid on this just to kind of keep from grease splattering all over. I'm going to clean up what I already got splattered here. So I don't splatter any more than necessary. While that meat is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and cut up some lettuce. I've got some romaine lettuce here that definitely needs to get used. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut some of that we can top our burrito bowls with. All right, so that was simple enough. Let's put this over to the side. Put this last little bit of lettuce back in the refrigerator and I'll use it up tomorrow or the next day. All right, let's see if this chicken's ready to turn. Oh, it smells like it is. Yep. Turn that down a little bit. I'm gonna add a little more oil to my pan. So I guess that only partially saved my stovetop. That's okay. Alright, those are about done. I'm glad that I pounded these chicken pieces a little bit thinner because they still puffed up quite a bit in the pan. So we just want to make sure that our chicken is completely done. Alright. So I think these 2 pieces are done. We'll go ahead and take them out of the pan. I'm going to add a little more oil. And then we're going to put our last 2 pieces of chicken in there. pieces of chicken are cooking, I'm gonna go ahead. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut up this chicken. I'm gonna put the cut up chicken in this bowl here so that we can just get what we want for our own, when we make our own actual plates, bowls, whatever. So I just dripped chicken grease on my shirt, so that's what I get for not wearing an apron. Oh well. So just stuck those last few pieces of chicken in the microwave just to make sure they're done. The outside was getting pretty brown, but I wanted to make sure the middle of the chicken was done. The first two pieces, the very middle still looked a little pink, so we want to make sure definitely that we're not eating undercooked poultry. That would not be fun. There's the rest of that first two pieces of chicken there. Let me see if these are done. This one I'm not too worried about. That one I want to make sure that it's completely done. Oh my gosh, this chicken is so tender. That marinade just makes such a huge difference. That one was definitely done. Let's put it in the bowl. And now let's check this other one. And they do look just a little pink, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut them all up and then just stick them in the microwave just for another, oh yeah, I can tell it's kind of rubbery when I'm trying to cut that piece. Okay, back on the plate these go. There we go. And into the microwave. Perfect timing. So our rice just got done, so I'm going to unplug it and I'm going to take it out of the, I don't know, the cooking part, I don't know what it's called, and set it out here because sometimes it'll burn on the bottom, and I figured out that if you take it out of the heating element, that's probably the word I was looking for, it does better. Okay, I'm going to come and make your bowl. So let me move this. So we've got all burrito bowl. Rice, beans, chicken, salsa, lettuce, cheese, and we're going to use that for our sour cream. So here's the, oh, let me give this rice a stir. Cut my finger.
That's right.
I know.
You should cut it off.
Let's let this rice sit for just a minute before we start, because I want to make sure that it's totally finished steaming. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start putting our plates together. You want rice? I'm assuming.
For sure. Rice first. Oh,
Yeah. No. More.
Yeah, that's
Probably should have let that.
That's all right. Man.
So there's the black beans, and those are our home canned black beans. And here's your fork.
Not too many.
The rice is mushy.
That's all right. Man.
My rice is mushy, but that's okay. Not good.
I smelled good as soon as I walked in.
This is one of the ones that I did a marinade. All those chickens that I marinated.
Oh, okay. I usually don't put cheese, but I'll put a little bit today. Yeah.
Good?
Well,
Want sour cream?
yeah. It almost tastes like, I can't say it, Paola.
That's what we're going for.
Okay.
You want more?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough. I don't have any. I would have been the rest.
All right, I need some cheese.
What?
I know. Okay, so here's our bowls. We've got all of our stuff here. Cheese, lettuce, chicken, salsa, beans, and rice. And I always stir mine up before I eat it. Even when I go to that other place that we just mimicked, I always dump mine out into a bowl and stir it all up before I eat it. I know it is a lot of food. I use these gigantic bowls I probably shouldn't have.
That's all right.
All right. Mmm. Ooh, that's good. Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's really good.